I'd like to take a dive back into one of my all-time favorite genres, and that of course being psychological horror. Psychological horror has definitely taken its place in the manga and anime community, becoming slowly a favorite genre. So for today's video, I'd like to introduce you to one of the greatest psychological horror stories and mangaka of all time. Today we're going to be talking about Satoshi Kon's Opus. Now, some of you watching this video may be familiar with the name Satoshi Kon, as he is one of the greatest anime directors of all time. With works such as Perfect Blue, Paprika, and Paranoia Agent, this man has created some of the biggest masterpieces in anime. But not only has this man done absolutely beautiful directing when it comes to anime, but he has managed to create some amazing stories in manga. Opus is an absolutely amazing manga, and it follows the story of our main character, who is a mangaka who is finally coming to the end of his series. But as he is writing this final chapter, he is struggling to find a way in how he can end this series. After coming up with the idea of killing his main character, the mangaka gets dragged into his own manga and his own world that he created. With living in his own creation comes the consequences of knowing that this man has played God essentially for this world. Everything that's happened to its characters, to the places, has all come from his mind. And he finally gets to live through it. What was so amazing about this series in specific was not just the fact that it broke the fourth wall, but it kind of brought up new politics in this manga. We see this idea of a creator who has had control over these characters all his life, and how much harm and trauma, happiness and sadness he's brought. Because essentially what this manga does, it doesn't only get you thinking of the characters, but it gets you thinking of reality. Not only can we look at this manga and see that the creator is having control over his characters, but it kind of gets you thinking while you're reading this series, and it does a lot to you psychologically while you're reading this. Seeing how this author has affected their lives, it gets you thinking, is there someone controlling our lives? It's very rare I read a manga and it messes with my brain, but this series managed to do that. This was Satoshi Kon's last work in manga, and it actually hits even harder when you realize that this manga he went on hiatus with, and he actually never fully completed this manga. There is no end to this series. Although there was a chapter found after he passed away, this series is incomplete. We never got to finish and finally see the final idea of Satoshi Kon, and with him passing away, we never will. But this is the beauty of it as an incomplete series, and I feel like as a manga reader, this is a series that everyone needs to experience once. This was such a unique and beautiful manga, and no matter how hard I think about it, it's just one of the greatest series I've ever read. When I consider psychological horror, this manga perfects it. But as I said, Satoshi Kon is a well-known director, and this isn't his only work he's created, especially in the psychological horror genre. And if you're not interested in checking out the manga, I highly recommend you check out his different shows and his movies, especially Perfect Blue. So, if you're looking for psychological horror, this is the series for you. And for those of you who have read this series, I applaud you, because I don't hear many people who have read this anymore. But anyways, I think I'm gonna leave the video at that for now. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe I'll do another video on some more of Satoshi Kon's work, as he is one of my all-time favorite creators when it comes to anime and manga. But thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you guys again in the next video. Farewell, friendy eye.